Hi, 7th grade. Today is May 11th or 5/11, and I am going to just go over what you might have missed in math class today. So I'm in my math Google Classroom. I'm going to come down and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at the slides that Mr. Jackson shared with the class today. I'm going to quickly talk through these. So it's geometry lesson 4, vertical and adjacent angles. So our learning targets, given a figure with angles present, I can determine my understanding of vertical and adjacent angles by correctly answering the questions on the worksheet. I can recall critical information regarding complementary and supplementary angles to assist with answering the questions. So we did complementary and supplementary angles last week. Remember, you get a complement on a test if you got a 90. So complementary angles add up to 90. They're two angles that together add up to 90. And then supplementary angles, remember we said supplemental straight line. A straight line is 180 degrees. Like I did a whole 180, that song. So it's somebody like turned around, right? If you a straight line, if you completely flip yourself the other direction, your body just turned, but completely, but you made a straight line. If you do 180 degrees. Okay, sorry for my terrible singing. Okay, new vocabulary for today's lesson: vertical angles, adjacent angles, intersecting a vertex. So these are important ones to know. Vertical angles, we're going to go over them more in depth here. But first we're going to go over our do now for today. So I'm going to leave the slides here to show you where the do now is over here in the Google Classroom stream. So do now from 5/11. So some people have turned it in, but here's the instructions. Write a short response in 5 minutes that includes 3 to 5 complete sentences with correct punctuation and spelling. Mr. Jackson, writing prompt is, why is Mother's Day significant? And he gave you a sentence starter there. Mother's Day is significant because maybe tell us what you did for your mom yesterday for Mother's Day. Okay, and once you're done with that, you can come back into the slides here, and then we're going over again. Complementary angles add up to how many degrees? 90. You get a compliment on a test when you get a 90. And if B equals 60 degrees, so now we're looking at this diagram here, B, so if this letter B, if this equals 60 degrees, then what's the value of A? So I would have to do 90 minus 60, and I would find out that A equals 30 degrees, right? Okay, so it's a quick review of complementary angles, and then supplementary angles again. Supplementary angles add up to, I did a full 180. Okay, anyway, supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. If A equals 60 degrees, what does B equal? Okay, so again, if I'm looking at this letter A here, if A equals 60, what will be left over? So again, I have to do some subtraction. I got to take my 180 and minus the 60. What is that going to leave me with? But 101. Okay, so just a quick example there. Moving on to our next one, a vertex, or other important vocabulary word. A vertex is a point where two or more curves, lines, or edges meet. Right here, you see this angle, that dot, that black dot, they circled it in green here, that is a vertex. Here's another one. These are two line segments because they end. Here's two lines that go on and on forever, and they have a vertex, a point. They meet, and well, actually, those are rays. I said the wrong thing. Those are rays because they start at a point and then they go on and on forever, like a ray of sunshine. And then here you have two lines intersecting. These lines go on and on forever, but they meet at the center vertex right here, that black dot. That is a vertex. Okay. And here we go, moving on to our next one. Adjacent angles. Angles are adjacent when they have a common side and a common vertex. So they share a common side. So in this, we've got this line here, they share it. So you can't make angle B without this line, because angle B has this line, the vertex, and then this line, and that makes angle B. And then angle A has this line, the vertex, and this line. A and B both share this line. That's what makes them adjacent. They're next to each other and they share this line and this vertex. If they didn't share this dot, this point where they both start, and they didn't share this line, they would not be adjacent. Okay? And, okay, so adjacent, they're next to each other and they share. If you're adjacent, you're next to somebody and you're sharing. Okay, so we're looking at these different angles. So which one of these are adjacent and which ones are not? So this one, I have A and B and they share this line, they share the dot. Yes, number 1 is adjacent. Number 2, okay, they share a vertex, but then they don't really share a line. So no, 2 is not adjacent angles. This one, okay, I've got this one and they share this line, but now they don't share a vertex. So this one is not adjacent. Here we go. They share a side and they share that vertex. Yes, 4 is adjacent. So 4 and 1 are both adjacent. Okay. Okay, now vertical angles. A pair of opposite angles made by 2 intersecting lines. Intersecting means lines cross. Okay, so you see we've got this line and this line, and they intersect at this vertex at this point right here. We've got angle A on this side and angle B on this side. They're equal to each other. Angle A and angle B are the same. Don't they look the same? And doesn't this other angle over here and this other angle over here look the same? Vertical angles make these pairs, this one and this one. Someone used to tell me that this looked like the head of a fish, like this angle A looked like a head of a fish, and this looked like the head of a fish, and vertical angles were like kissing fish or fish lips. That's just one way to try to remember it, but that didn't help me remember it. But some people, maybe that'll help you. But anyway, vertical angles are when 2 lines cross. Okay. And then here we go. Everyone talks about how an intersection, and they can think about a road. You see vertical angles every day. When there's 2 roads that meet, this angle over here is going to be the same as this angle over here. This angle over here with the stop sign, this is going to have the same angle as this one. Okay, and then for today's activity, so you can always refer back to these on any of your activities so you can double check yourself. But then the activity we did today is this adjacent and vertical angles. So go ahead and you would open up your work on the side for this one. Okay, directions. Answer the following question by demonstrating your understanding of the concepts vertical and adjacent angles. Vertical angles, each pair of opposite angles made by 2 intersecting lines. Remember the intersection or the fish lips I just talked about. Adjacent angles. 2 angles are adjacent when they have a common side and a common vertex, corner point, and they don't overlap. So part 1. Am I adjacent or vertical? Okay, so we went over these in class, so some of them are already answered for you. This one is adjacent. How do I know that? Because ABC, this angle here, ABC, this 15-degree angle, shares a side and a vertex with CBD, or this 22. They share a side and a vertex. That means they're adjacent. And you know, the easiest thing to do is you don't have to keep typing. You can just highlight this, click with 2 fingers, copy, and then you can paste it, right? And then I could go down to the next one here, and we gave you some answers on here already, but because we were doing it in class with some people, so that's why you should come to class. We give you some answers, but here we go. So these are vertical angles, right? We see the 2 intersecting lines. That's how we know it. It kind of looks like a little fishy kissing another little fishy, X and 11. So we know that these are the same. It shows us these 2 are the same, 22 and 22. This one is going to be 11. So then this X has to also equal 11. And then, so then again, these are vertical angles. So you would type in vertical, or you could copy and paste it from the top if you don't want to type it all out. Okay, the next one. Here we go. This one's kind of tricky. I'm going to go over this one. Number 3, looking at angle BGC. So I've got B, G, and C. So BGC, this is an angle right here. I'm looking at that. What angle is next to it or adjacent to it? So I've got BGC. So I can go on this side. So I can go on, find an angle that shares this side, BG. So I could do BGA. I could say that angle, BGA. Or I could call it AGB, either way, as long as the G stays in the middle. Or I could look at the other side, this side, GC. What shares this side? CGD. Yep, it's still going to share that G and that C line. So I can put either one of those. So I can write angle A, G, B. And usually you want to capitalize the letters, but, or you could do the other one too, or angle, what did I say, C, G, D. Either one of those is okay. And then I want you to finish the rest of these on your own. So what are these? You're just telling me, is this adjacent or vertical? Your answer to this one. What are those angles there? Number 5, again, what am I? You're writing adjacent or vertical. That's all you need to write. And then here, okay, so solve for x. Remember, a straight line equals 180 degrees. Okay, so this line is 180 degrees. So I've got 90, x, and 20. How can I figure out how much that x is? I could write an equation, or I could think about, I know that a equals to 180. So if I take away that 90 and I take away the 20, I'm going to be left with whatever x is. Next one. You're solving for x for this one. Use your knowledge of vertical angles to determine what x equals. And then the next, that's the last one, that's it. Okay, so if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me or Mr. Jackson, and I hope you guys have a great day.